What was I going to do? If I didn't tell a king a new story that night, even though it was the last night, he would still turn me over to the cook, and I would wind up in his pot of boiling oil. And I started to think, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I got up, I got dressed, I went outside, I started to think, oh, no, I've told that one. No, I've told that one. I've told them all. Well, maybe I can write a new one. So I tried to think of a new story, but no matter how hard I could think, all I could see in my head was the cook and his pot of boiling oil. I was scared. What was I going to do? Well, I chose to do something that wasn't very good of me. I said, I'm going to have to run away. Now, if I was doing what I should have been doing, I should have gone to the king, told him what was going on, and asked for mercy. But I didn't. I wanted to run away. I could have, I had that whole bag of gold under my bed. I could use that to get away. But how am I going to do it? I went into the garden and sat down in a chair and started to think about it. And after a while, my wife, Fiona, came to see me. She said, "Darling, guess who's here?" And I said, "Not now, I'm busy." That was very rude of me. She said, "No, a friend of yours is here. He wants to see you." Wait, a friend? I don't have any friends here. I'm not outside of the palace, I don't. But I got up, and I went to go, and she led me over to where my friend was, and guess who it was? It was the beggar. It was the beggar that I had helped escape, that I had helped to feed a year ago. He was still dressed the same, very ratty clothes, sort of cloak that was hanging around him that was full of holes. He didn't smell very good, and he had maybe 3 teeth. But he looked really happy to see me, and I tried to be happy to see him. And I said, "Hello, my friend, what can I do for you?" And he said, "Oh, well, sir, I just came to want to know if you wanted to play a little game with me." And I'm sitting there thinking, I have just a few hours to live, and I do not have time for this guy. But I was raised to be polite, so I said, "Sir, I'm very sorry. I just don't have the time right now." But he said, "Not even for a bag of gold?" He reached into his cloak and pulled out a bag of gold. And he dropped it on the ground in front of me. And he said, "You have a bag of gold, don't you, young man? We'll play a game, and whoever wins gets both our bags of gold." Now, I should have been thinking. If I had been thinking, I would have thought, how does this beggar have a bag of gold? If he's got that bag of gold, how was he still a beggar? I should have been thinking, no, this is wrong. I shouldn't be playing games. I should be working. But you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, it's going to be hard to get out of here. The more money I have, the easier that it would be to get out of here. So I said, "All right, my friend, I will play your game. My bag of gold against your bag of gold, and whoever wins gets both." So I quickly went back to my room, grabbed my bag of gold. We put it down on the ground, and I said, "What game are we playing?" And the beggar reached into his cloak again and pulled out some dice. Do you know what dice are? They're these. Okay, little blocks with numbers on them. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the idea is you roll them, and whoever has the highest number wins. So what's the highest number you can get? If the top number on both of them is 6, what's the biggest number you can get? It's 12, right? Because 6 is 12. It's the highest number you can get. So I said, okay. So I reached in to my bag of gold, took out 10 coins, put them down on the ground. The beggar reached into his bag of gold, put down 10 coins. There we go. So there's 20 gold coins. Whoever gets the highest number wins. So I picked up those dice, and I threw them, and I rolled a 9. That's pretty good. But the beggar picked them up, and he rolled a 10. Oh, well, he wins. So he took those 20 gold coins, put them in his bag. I reached into my bag, pulled out 20 gold coins, put them on the ground, took those dice, and I rolled a 4. Ooh, that's not good. And the beggar picked up the dice, and he rolled an 8. So he got the money. Uh-oh. I'm starting to lose. I need to bet bigger here. I took 30 coins, put them on the ground, took those dice, and I rolled a 10. That's pretty good. The beggar picked up his dice, and he rolled an 11. And that's how it kept going. I kept losing. And every time I would lose, I would try to put more money down to try to win it back. But every time I threw those dice, I got a lower number than the beggar. Every single time. Until I used up all my gold. I had gambled away all of my gold, and now the beggar had it all. And I couldn't understand it. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? I need that gold to get out of here. But the beggar reached over, he picked up the dice, and he said, "How about another game, my friend?" And I said, I don't have any more to play for. And the beggar said, "You have her," and pointed to my wife. And I got really mad. I said, who does this guy think he is? Coming in here and thinking I'm going to gamble my wife away? I got angry. I got really angry. And I started to get up. But my wife, Fiona, came over, pushed me back down and said, "We accept. We'll play again. And if you win, and if he wins, if my husband wins, we get all the money back. But if you win, I will be your wife." I said, "Fiona, what are you doing? You can't do this." And she said, "But look at it. Look at it. Look how much money you have to win. And you've been losing so much. You have to win sometime." So, the silly things that we talk ourselves into doing sometimes. I should have said no, but I wasn't thinking clearly. So I said, all right, because I was desperate. I reached out, grabbed those dice, shook them hard, and I rolled 2 1s. The lowest that you could get. It didn't matter what the beggar rolled after that, he would win. So I had already lost. And I looked up at Fiona. What do you say? I just gave my wife away. What am I supposed to say to her? But she went over and she put her arms around the beggar and she kissed him. I said, "Fiona, what are you doing?" And she just looked at me like she'd never seen me before and she said, "He's my husband now. I must love him." Oh, man. I thought I was going to cry. But the beggar reached over, he picked up the dice, and he said, "Another game?" I said, what do you mean another game? There's nothing left. You've taken everything I have. But the beggar said, how about your life? I will roll again. If you win, you get everything back. If I win, then you now belong to me. What do I do? What would you do? I felt that I had to do it. I mean, it didn't matter, did it? If he wins, well, so what? The king's going to kill me in a few hours anyway. It was the one chance I had. So I nodded my head, and the beggar took those dice, and he shook them, and he threw. Two sixes. 6 and a 6 being 12. The highest number there was. He had beaten me. Totally beaten me. He had taken my gold, he had taken my wife, and now he had taken my freedom. And I knelt there on the ground trying to figure out how everything had gone wrong so fast. But while I was staring down, the beggar reached into his coat, pulled out a rope, and he tied it off so there was a loop at the end. And while I was kneeling down there, he came over and threw that rope over my head and tightened it like a leash on a dog. And I looked up at my friend the beggar, well, not my friend anymore, my master, the beggar. And I said, is this it? Am I to spend the rest of my life being led around like a dog? And the beggar smiled, a very cruel smile. He said, no, not like a dog, like a hare, like a rabbit. Suddenly, it was dark. And I thought, how did the sun set so fast? It's only lunchtime. But then I realized the sun hasn't set, it's still light. My clothes are covering my head. My clothes are covering my whole body now. My clothes have gotten so big. What happened? But it wasn't that my clothes had gotten so big. I had gotten so small. I pushed my way out of my clothes and I came out back into the light. I was small now, covered in gray fur, on all fours, with 2 long ears. I don't know how he'd done it, but the beggar had turned me into a rabbit. And I started to scream. I said, Fiona, help me! Or I tried to do that, but rabbits can't talk. So all that came out was, and you know what Fiona did? She clapped her hands and said, oh, that's wonderful! Yeah, thanks, woman, that helps. The beggar, before I could move, the beggar reached down, grabbed me, and held me up by my ears. And I'm there dangling by my ears, trying to fight, trying to move, and I can't do anything, so hang there. And Fiona said, can you turn him into anything else? And the beggar said, of course I can, darling. Do you want something bigger or smaller? And she said, how about smaller? How about a flea? I screamed again, and suddenly, just like that, I was a flea. You know what a flea is? It's like a little bug, little blood-sucking bug, almost too small to see. He turned me into a flea, and I was there, hanging out on the beggar's filthy body with all the rest of his fleas. Well, I woke up that morning. I was a rich man with a beautiful wife, Now I had no wife, no money, and I was a flea. I had lost everything in just a few minutes.